My guest today is Ezra Strauss. Ezra is the head of partnerships at Portal, doing a whole lot of intriguing and very interesting things across the Web3 gaming ecosystem. We'll learn more about some of this today, of course, but welcome to the show, Ezra.
Thanks so much for having me, Andy. It's lovely to be here. I've certainly listened to a few episodes over the last couple of years, so an honor to now be on the other side of the show.
Very nice of you to say. And look, it's a pleasure to have you here, Ezra. So look, let's do what we do at the beginning of the show. It would be super cool if you could please introduce yourself. Love to hear some of your personal and professional backstory. What have you been doing in the lead up to joining the team at Portal?
Yeah, for sure. So I joined Portal two and a bit months ago. It feels like it's already been a full year, as I guess things go in this industry. Before joining Portal, I spent 2 and a bit years at Immutable on the team there, working on ecosystem and developer partnerships. So a bit of time spent on the technology platform, working with game developers and ecosystem partners. And then the last 16 months, I spent actually in the Immutable game studio working on publishing partnerships, covering everything from Web3 game launches, technology integration, product strategy, and building out the business operations for that new publishing business as well. So I've certainly had a lot of hands-on experience in this space. And before joining Immutable, I came from more of a gaming and entertainment background, working most recently at a startup in Toronto called TimePlay, where we're working with big entertainment companies such as Sony and Paramount, Endemol Shine, big licensors and distribution companies on interactive entertainment applications on the platform that company owns as well. So lots of experience around interactive platforms, content, technology, and go-to-market. So I think everything is sort of dovetailed into a lot of the exciting stuff that we're working on here at Portal.
Yeah, well, it sounds like you are the right man in the right place at the right time, indeed, Ezra. So, yeah, Immutable, great company. I'm familiar with, what those guys are doing in Australia. And Portal as well, of course, is doing some incredible stuff in Web3. So just for anyone who isn't really familiar with Portal, do you want to just bring us up to speed with, I guess the kind of the high level vision of what Portal is, and then we can kind of start to go through it.
Yeah, for sure. I think that, Portal's obviously built quite a reputation from the market-setting token launch, I guess you could call it, back in February of this year, which was a really exciting moment. For us, the way we think of it is that's the beginning of the journey, obviously, and really what Portal's focused on is, for Web3 games, I think there are these problems that both developers and players face in terms of, from a developer perspective, distribution of content, finding new audiences, and having the right sort of product underneath the hood to build seamless experiences that not only make it easier for the Web3 audience to interact with content anywhere and on any chain that it's built, but also at the same time making it easier for new users interested in what Web3 has to offer, or that might not even need to know that it's a Web3 game or a Web3 app, can stumble upon it and begin interacting pretty seamlessly. And so, the vision is really around scalable and seamless experiences for Web3 games and making it easier for any user to interact with any Web3 product anywhere in the world on any chain.
Yep, that is very well said. So I suppose one of the newer products, if you like, coming out of Portal, you call it Portal Pay, right? So I mean, yeah, that's reasonably self-explanatory. I think we can kind of get a sense of what this is all about. It's about payments, no doubt. But this is obviously something that is needed in the Web3 space and the gaming space, which can obviously a lot of the time just be too fragmented, right? And that makes it just harder for people. So, maybe feel free to set some more context, and then tell us about Portal Pay, Ezra.
Yeah, so I think Portal Pay is a really exciting product for a number of reasons. One of which is when you look at the landscape across video games and even iGaming, the volume of transactions and the breadth of offering of different payment providers is quite broad. And so like there's clearly big opportunity to build payments for the future of what these industries look like in terms of the ability to accept and remit in both directions crypto payments, both for players to pay into ecosystems and for ecosystems to pay back out to players. So, when we look at Portal Pay, what we're really excited about is today, Portal Pay allows developers to accept payment in any token from any chain to their chain of choice. And there's a lot of exciting featuring around that makes it a really powerful developer tool around, for example, settling in your currency of choice on your chain of choice. And we're working on some other exciting features around that as well that I don't want to give away too much of the roadmap in case any of our friends in the space are listening, but some really exciting features around that. But I think more importantly, when you look at what the vision of Pay is and where we're going over the next 6 to 12 months, it's really about paying from anywhere in the world onto any chain and back in the other direction as well. And I think what that means is, when we look at the rise of like digital blockchain economies and the influx of capital on chain and more users interacting on chain, it's about figuring out how to allow the off-chain and on-chain economy to interact and integrate with one another very seamlessly. And so what that looks like is, from a Portal Pay perspective, is a payments product that makes it easier for developers to accept, again, kind of payments from anywhere in the world, including any chain, and to remit those back out to players in their ecosystems as well. So certainly an ambitious vision, but we're very excited about what that does and how it pushes the gaming and the crypto space forward in terms of driving additional adoption and solving real tangible business problems for a lot of the games and application developers that we talk to today.
Well, it sounds like, Ezra, that Portal Pay is a fairly potent solution then to, I guess, what you could describe as, the fragmentation problem or interoperability problem, however you want to describe it. But what you're talking about is the ability for, game developers to, I guess, make it possible for their users to pay for items or transact across most chains, it sounds like. So just maybe describe a little bit more about, what that looks like, the kind of interoperability involved. And I presume there were some challenges involved in kind of coming up with a solution like this as well.
Yeah, a lot of certain, I shouldn't take too much of the credit.
Sure.
I'm not the engineer. And so full credit to the engineering team. There's certainly a lot of technical challenges under the hood. And I think when you look at this, like after spending a couple of years working at the biggest gaming chain, and, we're really excited to be working in that ecosystem and with that team. But after a couple of years there, it's like very clear that there are so many kind of silos of liquidity across wallets and chains and user bases and applications and just so much stuff and so much noise and so many things bottleneck. And so we see this as like obviously adding efficiency to the general broader market of crypto assets. And for us, like when you look at what solving fragmentation and unifying the Web3 landscape really does, we want to go and empower base developers to accept Sol from Solana, which we support today. We do support EVM and non-EVM chains out of the box, including our friends at Futureverse, which we've recently announced that partnership, the Root Network. We're really excited to be working with them as well. So sort of like as mentioned, supporting EVM chains and non-EVM chains out of the box and making it easier for a base developer to accept any token from Solana or from Root or from Ethereum Layer 1. And for some of these ecosystems, like, for example, the Arbitrum ecosystem, which is sort of this like ever-evolving set of chains under the Orbit program, for example, we want to make it easier for people to pay within the Arbitrum ecosystem and help solve some of those liquidity problems as well. As we see, I think the way that we look at the blockchain landscape is, we're moving towards this point where all these different applications will have their own chains in some capacity, creating theoretically more different silos, and it will be difficult to solve some of the native messaging problems that exist between different chain ecosystems. And so really what Portal Pay is set up incredibly well to do is like help games or any sort of a consumer application that wants to accept payments from across the Web3 landscape to tap into all of the existing liquidity. It improves their ability to market to the Web3 ecosystem and improve conversion rates at the bottom of the funnel, right? And just make it easier for users to transact. We see lots of games today with this problem of users interested in the game coming through the funnel and at the point of conversion actually ending up churning out because they didn't have a great experience when they tried to go and purchase something. And we solve that problem. And so it's like it's like exciting to be solving real business problems in consumer applications in this kind of landscape of infrastructure offerings. Being very focused on the consumer experience is really exciting.
Yeah, look, I think that's a great way to articulate things, Ezra. Thank you for that. It's really good to see different teams, different developers, different people working on the same kind of problems. And, slowly but surely, Web3 is starting to come together. And you mentioned, Ezra, the partnership with Futureverse, or I think Futureverse, are integrating a portal pay across some of their different Web3 and metaverse style ecosystems. I'm sure you're aware that Futureverse is it's a company that originated in my neck of the woods, New Zealand, and I know that Aaron McDonald, the kind of the figurehead, if you like, at Futureverse is certainly one of the more prolific and influential and reputable builders in Web3, I think. So the fact that I think that's a big tick for Futureverse, but for Portal as well, the fact that you guys are working together. So I don't know if you can, I know this announcement has just been announced, but as I understand it, there's 4 different kind of Futureverse experiences that will be immediately integrated with Portal Pay. So I think Reebok Impact, Gen Music AI, I'm sure you're familiar with that, the kind of the music AI program that they're doing. Then there's the Third Kingdom, which is the kind of the metaverse environment, and Apes Unleashed, which that's probably something to do with Bored Apes. But so there's a lot happening here already, I can tell, Isra.
Yeah, they've got, full credit. Like, we're very excited and lucky to be working with the Futureverse team. They are, like, as you said, one of the, most exciting teams in the space right now, and have an incredibly grand vision between their chain and the platform. And it's not just a gaming ecosystem, like you said, with like the Gen AI music piece. It's truly like a big experiment in like consumer and media applications on chain. And for us to get to be a part of that, I think is an incredible opportunity, but it also allows us to start learning more about these different verticals across the different consumer parts of how, crypto operates today. And I think for us, what we're really focused on helping them solve is as they like have this grand vision, and as they spin up the root network and they build out this, massive ecosystem around the future pass, there's sort of like consolidated central identity and user account system. It's a really exciting opportunity to help be a part of the mission of scaling the root network with them and making it easier for users anywhere in Web3 to pay into that ecosystem. And as we talked about before, as we're able to work very closely with one of the best teams in Web3 and, really kind of help figure out from a payments and revenue perspective, what does Portal Pay need to do to help supercharge the growth and success of the Futureverse ecosystem. Again, it's about helping make sure that they can go and like launch effectively in new markets, accept payments from, like when you go and you look at like publishing games, for example, in like Vietnam or in Taiwan or in Brazil, there are niche regulations, niche payment providers that you have to accept. And, our roadmap is very focused on adding these like compliant, localized payment methods to make it easier for more users in these markets to pay on chain and to get involved in these different economies. And specifically for the Futureverse economy, we're really excited about the robust roadmap that we have to help them scale and drive a lot of success. So it's a really exciting opportunity to be working with them. And admittedly, we're learning a ton from them all the time. And they've got their hands in kind of so many different areas of the ecosystem that's really exciting to be part of their journey.
Yeah, fantastic. Very well said. All right, we've talked about a few of the kind of traditional problems in Web3, I guess, and one of the biggest, which applies broadly to crypto, Ezra, is simply user experience, right?
Yeah.
So I'm sure, from your perspective, just love to hear how you think about that. just broadly, but also specifically, I guess, with, a Portal Pay. And I guess the idea would just be to try and make it as seamless and kind of in the background as possible, both for, users, gamers, and of course developers. But yeah, we're making progress on that front, it seems now.
Yeah, look, I think when you look 5 years, not even 5, 2 or 3 years into the past, we've come a long way from everything from $250 gas fees to mint an NFT at kind of peak traffic, all the way to like the rough onboarding around wallet creation, wallet management, key management. Like a lot of these big problems have been solved by some really incredible teams in the space. And I think, for Portal, one of the important things that we're focused on is we're certainly focused on user experience, but I think some of our biggest strengths lie in actually pooling users in a place. And when we look at what the vision for Portal is, even beyond pay, and we think about what user experience really means, what scaling to mass market really means, and having like a multi-million daily and monthly active user base of our own for our platform, I think for us, what that looks like is, like we talked about, chain abstraction, account abstraction, like things that are really important where developers can get the most out of what blockchain means from like a security, decentralization, and like economy management perspective, while at the same time smoothing things out so that as a user, I'm not, privy to the difference in backend infrastructure, which, I shouldn't be. And so, yeah, I think like for us, it's like really just sort of being laser focused on what does that look like, and us building our own platform and spending a lot of time, and we can talk a bit more about what the Portal roadmap really holds, but spending a lot of time being an app developer of a consumer app, playing in the user acquisition game, implementing our own products, and like having to solve these problems for ourselves really helps us empathize with developers as we build some of this other tooling for them to leverage as well, which in the end allows them to tap into the Portal economy, the Portal user base, and like drive growth and adoption for their own products. And we really see ourselves as being the tip of the spear of solving this user experience and consumer problem, which in the end, we want to act as like the best funnel to help games and Web3 apps grow into the different audiences that we're aggregating together. So that's, I think, kind of what that looks like.
Yeah, very, very nice, Ezra. Then, look, you mentioned the product roadmap. So, yeah, love to hear a little bit more about what that looks like. I suppose, there's two parts to that. There's probably the Portal Pay roadmap, and then the kind of the broader Portal ecosystem itself.
Yeah.
So, however you want to touch on both of those. Love to kind of hear your perspectives on what is ahead directionally.
For sure. So I think like, if I were to go back and revise that opening statement of like what is Portal, the second side of what is Portal is also the most rewarding place to play games online, in my opinion. And so, when you look at Portal Pay is step one in this vision of, a really well integrated on-chain economy with the off-chain world and off-chain economies scaling into these sort of larger user bases and helping applications tap into these new pools of users and liquidity to help them grow and succeed as any app developer needs. And I think that, when we look at what the roadmap sort of holds and as we go to market over the next, several months, what we're really excited about is taking Pay and supercharging it with a few other products around it. The first piece is like this consumer platform with our own account abstraction and platform wallet. Also, I don't want to talk too much, but very much within the same vision of Portal Pay, where Portal Pay is about paying from any chain with any token to the chain of choice for the developer. The Portal wallet is basically a wallet that a user can take to any chain in Web3, custody any asset that they have. And so it's a really exciting product that we're excited to be releasing soon that will allow users to kind of navigate the full breadth of the on-chain economy. And then at the same time, making Portal the most rewarding place to play from a consumer perspective. We have about 200 or so game partners signed from the run up to TGE and that we've been working with since. And it's a really exciting opportunity to start working with a lot of these incredible games on, rewards and incentives and like how we actually help to leverage the sort of like growth infrastructure that we've been working on and solve these discovery and monetization problems that they're facing. And so, when you look at what the future for Portal holds over the next, call it 6 to 12 months, it's taking pay as this foundational piece that allows developers to accept payments from anywhere, popping up with this exciting infrastructure that lets you, kind of navigate and custody assets anywhere on chain, adding the sort of rewards piece, and, working really closely with a lot of these developers to, make a big splash in market. And then from there, obviously working, we're making a big bet on the platform we're putting together, and very excited about then seeing what it really looks like to try to, scale a user base into a product and see how we can, work with our developer partners. So I don't want to go too far into some of the like fun and interesting things under the hood, but suffice it to say, it's a really exciting opportunity to be building a product that helps other developers grow their businesses and make more money on chain. So it's really exciting for us. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, lots in the pipeline.
Yes.
In summary, Ezra, you did mention the TGE, the token generation event that'll be for Portal Coin. There was, there's been sort of mini hype cycles in anticipation for this already. Maybe just anything to share in terms of how that is looking.
Yeah, so the token launched back in February, which was a really exciting moment. And I still being Immutable at the time was following quite closely. I think it really took the industry by storm. And what really caught my eye about what the team executed here was, this incredible viral campaign really being a forerunner for what has become the SocialFi meta around the Crystal Dash campaign, which generated about 3 billion impressions across Twitter. They grew about, I think, 250,000 user accounts through the campaign in just about 3 weeks, which was like pretty incredible growth overnight. And so, I think that now as we look at the market with the token out and, it's all about laser focus on execution and delivering. And, the team here is very focused on, what the problems that we know exist in market. And at the same time, kind of, we've been adding a lot of team members, I guess myself included, who have worked at, some like industry leading tokens and kind of understand what it takes to help drive an ecosystem forward, and to like path yourself through the market. And we're really excited about actually being quite focused on, as the market sort of sits at the way that it is today, and people sort of are looking around and distracting themselves, we see it as a great opportunity to continue executing and delivering. And in a few months' time, as these cycles, as markets always cycle, as we cycle back, we'll be in an incredible position to catch, I think, a great opportunity. So, it's about focus and execution for us right now.
Yeah, I love it. Focus and execution. That's what it always comes down to. Maybe just as we start to finish up this part of the podcast, Ezra, just love to get your perspectives on just kind of, broader thoughts in terms of how you see kind of the web industry at the moment, problems, opportunities, user numbers, the kind of the narrative is a bit dead outside of, the kind of the hardcore, but it's just, this is how it works, market cycles, but of course, builders are building, things are happening. Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think, so I've been through a couple cycles now, I guess. I've even cycled out myself. I lost money on Quadrex, on Quadriga, way back as a Canadian, way back in 2017. And so I've been through sort of a number of cycles. And I think that for myself, we always see this return to like fear and these sort of like negative and like self-cannibalizing narratives. And in the end, we sort of like make it out on the other side, having shown some material improvement, first in infrastructure, then in user experience. And I think, for us, like as you sort of look at what's happening in the industry right now, there is this like there's certainly a lot of like there are pockets of opportunity. I think like where the opportunities lie right now are one, thinking through, from a developer perspective as more consumer, because I think where we're at in this cycle is like there are lots of games building games, and there are lots of picks and axes and tooling and all these things that sort of exist. There are lots of gaming chains, and we were sort of like lucky to not really be competing in that space. I think we've carved out a nice niche where we work with the chains and we're helping to grow their ecosystems. And I think that what if it was me kind of thinking through what opportunities still exist in market, I think the big thing here is understanding what does it take to help supercharge the growth of an ecosystem or the growth of an application, and like what sort of like technical barriers have existed to like them bringing on more users. And that's like from a user experience perspective. But I think that what becomes really exciting is let's look at the gaming vertical for a second. These like games very focused on like purely on-chain mechanics, the on-chain gaming category is very exciting, very much like a burgeoning space, and there's a lot of pioneering going on in there. And I think that as ourselves and a few other companies that have begun to solve this distribution problem and also provide some of the tooling to help reduce the barriers to, because these sorts of games need their own dedicated infrastructure, but I think ultimately actually create the most interesting sort of content that take full advantage of what blockchain actually has to offer. It's like being focused on those sorts of problems, I think becomes super compelling, because I think that, we're at this point in the market where we're starting to like baby step our way through on-chain mechanics. But the real exciting opportunity is once we've smoothed out those, like one, it's from like a compliance and regulatory perspective, and then two, from a technical perspective, it's like what does fully on-chain product look like as like a data layer, as an economy, and everything like that. Futureverse is certainly part of that. We're certainly a part of that. And there are a lot of exciting teams that are now thinking about like what does everything on chain look like, and does that even make sense? And I think that's like a really exciting place to start experimenting in.
Yes, indeed. Thank you for sharing your thoughts, Ezra. All right. Well, look, as we finish up this part of the podcast, please just direct people who want to learn more about all things Portal. There's Portal Pay for developers or game developers, Web3 entrepreneurs needing a simple payment solution. How can people have a look at what you're offering? And of course, there's the Portal ecosystem itself. There's the token. Just shout out the websites and so on.
Yeah, for sure. So main Twitter account is @PortalCoin. Pretty easy. A lot of content there. Our main website is portalgaming.com. And then the pay website, and we're just in the middle of doing a refresh and relaunching that website in the next couple of weeks. So it'll be the same domain. But right now, pay.portalgaming.com is the best place to go learn about Portal Pay. And through pay.portalgaming.com, there's access to our blog as well. So there's like a bunch of different stuff that we've got going on in terms of communication and publishing new content for people. So please feel free to go and take a look. And if you have any questions, we're very active in our Twitter DMs, and we will get back to you for sure.
Awesome. Thank you, Ezra. It's time to close out the show, and we do that, of course, by running you through the very famous crypto conversation hot take round. Are you up for it?
Yeah, I'm up for it, Andy. Let's do it.
Let's do it, Ezra. You know how this goes. I'm just going to run some questions at you. No right or wrong way to do it. Just give us your honest answers, hot take style, if you like. Question one for you, Ezra, is where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
Multi-chain opportunist. Like, and on a scale of 1 to 10, maybe like an 8 or a 9.
Yeah. All right. Makes sense. What would you say, though, is your firmest conviction crypto opinion, Isra?
Ethereum as the leading backend for scaling on-chain economies.
Yep. Nice. All right. Bill Gates famously said that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. Anyone who's spent any time building in the wonderful world of blockchains will be very familiar with that kind of thinking. But look, 10 years is a long time. Anything you like here, Ezra, 10 years out, Web3, blockchain gaming, Portal, what does it all look like?
Oh, it looks like completing missions in a video game, earning something in exchange, and going to the grocery store and paying for it.
Nice. Look, makes perfect sense to me. All right. William Gibson, famous sci-fi author, he famously said that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. Can you think of an example of the future being here right now, Ezra? But most people aren't aware of it.
The future being here, yeah, on-chain identities, and there's proof of identity protocol and some things like that. I think that that is certainly a direction we're going, where you can, this idea of community-owned data and identity all in one place.
Yeah, absolutely. Great selection. All right, it brings us nicely to our final question, and we'll see what your selection is for that. But the final question, Ezra, is what is your favorite science fiction book, film, or TV show?
Well, it's a great question. I would go with Isaac Asimov's work for sure. I think that just foundations and everything that he talks about in that world is just truly incredible. And he's a million years ahead of his time, and is the right mix of futuristic thinking and social commentary and present social commentary that seems to transcend time. So yeah, I would leave it there with anything by Isaac Asimov.
Yeah, great selection with Foundation, of course. Yeah, a very ambitious utopian vision of galactic futures. And there's a TV adaptation on Apple TV, isn't there?
Yep.
Ezra, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much for coming and spending some time with us today, laying out the vision for Portal Pay, and everything else that you guys have got going on, which is a lot. Close it out just by telling people where they can find you on X or wherever else you like to hang out online. And again, just shout out the Portal web properties.
Yeah, for sure. Again, Portal at PortalCoin on Twitter, portalgaming.com, k.portalgaming.com for anything Portal Pay related. You can find me on Twitter at Ezra Strauss, EZRASTRAUSS. Also on LinkedIn, pretty active in my DMs. So if you are interested in learning more, I'm happy to chat. And yeah, Andy, thank you so much for having me on. This was a true pleasure. Hopefully I did your hot take roundtable justice. That was a lot of fun.
A lot of fun for me as well. Thank you so much, Isra. We'll do it again, I'm sure. All the best, and bye for now.